Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, we get a sneak peek of the F8 Lightning, cargo decks move into White Box, plus both the Persistent Universe Monthly Report and Squadron 42 reports are released. So don't forget, courtesy of CIG, we are giving away a Prowler game package. Make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube and keep your eyes out on the video for today's secret code. For all the information and links to how to enter this giveaway, check the description below. So on Inside Star Citizen this week, they kicked off by looking at the new lighting updates coming with 3.9 and beyond. Now they want to ensure that objects, environments and characters look as good as possible, and the lighting really allows this. It can also take one scene and transform it completely depending on the lighting setup, which will now change from night to day. Each planet and moon rotates on its own axis, which means that they have a full dynamic time of day. Because of this, they have no control over the way that the sun lights up the scene, so they have to work around the sun's position and make sure that the locations look as good as possible at every moment of the day. In the past, they have had to pre-bake the lighting into the environment, which means that the lighting does not alter as the time of day changes, and it can look very static and very unrealistic. They have worked on two pieces of tech to improve this. The first one is called runtime probes, and this basically tells the locations to periodically update itself and recapture the ambient lighting based on several things, like, for example, the movement of the sun. Now this means that as the time of day passes, the ambient lighting should update accordingly, and a lot smoother than it's showing in the video because that's sped up. The next piece of tech is the day-night light groups, which is the same light group system they use for ships like your damage or your emergency lighting states. And this allows them to control the lighting around an environment and change the lighting when they want to. So for example, as the sun comes up, the lights will turn off and alter, and then when the sun goes down, the lights will come back on again and create the night lighting effects. Now this allows them to turn on city lights, street lights. New Babbage's bar will actually change in terms of its mood lighting as well, so it feels like you're actually transitioning between night and day. Now this is really useful, not just for making the environments feel realistic and dynamic, but it also helps with performance as the lighting isn't constantly on, allowing them to increase their performance gains. So this feature is being rolled out gradually, as I've said. It starts with New Babbage now and 3.9, and next up will be Lawville and Area 18. As they expand from there, it'll be other planetary locations like outposts and underground facilities and so on. Now this is all very impressive, and I feel like they will make a lot more difference than we realise. They kind of add this layer of immersion to locations. Lighting is one of those key elements that if it's done wrong, it really stands out and looks hideous, whereas if it's done right, you don't really notice, but it can create a much better environment. Hopefully, it'll also keep the frame rates up, especially around places like Lawville and Area 18, so a win-win. So next up on Inside Star Citizen, there was a sprint report, which is excellent. First one, we looked at some yoga clothing concepts for New Babbage's NPCs. They also worked on a new mission giver called Eddie Parr. This guy is the barman at Wally's Bar in New Babbage, and he runs a side racket smuggling in contraband. As with any Chris Roberts game, the bar and the barmans are the sort of place to get missions and make contacts, which is why they are highly focused on creating an immersive barman around the verse. Do expect some drug running, maybe some smuggling jobs from this guy once he drops in. I think he's slated now for 3.10. So they're putting the finishing touches on the high-tech hangars set for New Babbage Spaceport. They are looking great, and on that note, I'm sure many of you have noticed this shot of the F8 Lightning, which a lot of people are rumouring that it's going to go on sale during the Free Fly Fleet Week. I'm not sure. I hope it kind of doesn't, because it shouldn't, but I really want one, so either way, I'm going to be okay with that. But do let me know what you think. We'll take a deeper look into this ship once we learn a little more. The cargo deck module interiors are now in white boxing phase. As we know, this will offer new missions, opportunities, and eventually tying up, they say, with the new player trading app, which, when implemented, will allow for the transferring of commodities between players. Now, this is really exciting, but do remember that the first version of this player trading app will only be for the transferring of UEC, so in-game currency, which, to be fair, is great news anyway, and it does sound like it's making amazing headway. From there, you will be able to eventually transfer cargo ownership and all sorts of stuff. Now we also got to see a more further developed gas cloud, which will just add texture to the spacescapes, in particular to creating interesting environments around maybe a wayward space station located between planets. This will form the basis of gases found around the verse, like in asteroid fields, around space stations, around jump points and so on. I'm really hoping that we get to see gas clouds implemented soon. It looks like they're making a lot of headway on this, and they just add so much atmosphere to the verse. Taking off from space stations rather than just in the constant black would be a lot more interesting. And finally, the Planet Tech team are updating the older content, like the height maps, to bring them up to the new tech standard, making better use of updated texture resolution, which will allow for better object distribution, nicer material breakup, natural colour transitions, more accurate far distance reads, and more. Also, it means that the data is a lot more accurate, meaning that where it's more predictable during the whole process of painting planets, which again will make it a lot quicker to do so. Anyway, that was Inside Star Citizen. Let's move on. So also this week, Galactic Guide takes us to the Oritani system. Star Citizen Live sat down with the Persistent Universe composer Pedro Camacho. He works on all the music within the PU and on many ship commercials as well. He talks about the process he goes through to create the music, including the latest Microtext soundtrack. Now, I highly recommend watching this if it is something that you're interested in, but nothing new was really learnt about the game, so I'll leave it up to you whether you want to see it or not. And finally, both the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42 monthly reports are available to read. The PU report is on the website right now, and the Squadron 42 monthly report will be on the website next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday, but you can access it via subscribing to the Squadron 42 newsletter. But do not worry, I have already covered both of these in a separate video, which I have linked for you in the description below. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.